Derek's mother won't stop calling. 23 times since yesterday morning when the photos hit Facebook. I watch her name flash on my screen again, let it go to voicemail like all the others. From the bathroom, I can hear my roommate Kelsey talking to someone, probably another friend who's seen the disaster I created. The apartment smells like burnt coffee, old mascara, and shame. I should answer Derek's mother. Should try to explain how I destroyed her son. But what would I say? That my friends convinced me I was settling? That I believed I deserved to explore? That I threw away the best man I'll ever know because 3 women with failed relationships told me I was missing out? My phone buzzes with a text from Rachel. Girl, Derek just posted about moving to Portland. This is insane. Portland, 3,000 miles from Baltimore, as far from me as he can get without leaving the country. Smart man, always was smarter than me. 2 months ago, I had a different life. A fiancé who loved me, a wedding planned for next spring, a future mapped out in sensible, beautiful detail. Derek and I had been together since junior year at Penn State. 7 years of building something real. 7 years I threw away because I listened to the wrong voices. It started at Madison's divorce party. Yes, a divorce party. She'd rented out a wine bar in Towson, invited all her girlfriends to celebrate her freedom from Todd. Never mind that Todd had supported her through nursing school, or that he'd caught her sexting with her CrossFit trainer. This was her liberation, and we were there to toast it. Marriage is a trap, Madison announced, 3 wines deep. I gave Todd my 20s, my hot years. For what? A house in the suburbs and missionary position twice a month? The other divorced women laughed. Rachel, fresh off her second divorce at 31. Kelsey, who'd left her husband of 18 months for his brother. They clinked glasses like surviving some war. How's wedding planning? Rachel asked me, but her tone suggested she was asking about funeral arrangements. Good, I said. We're looking at venues for— Lauren, stop! Madison grabbed my hand with her wine-sticky fingers. You're 28. You've been with Derek since college. When have you ever been single? When have you ever explored? I don't need to explore. I love Derek. Love? Kelsey said it like a disease. I loved Brian. Then I met his brother and realized I'd been settling for store brand when I could have premium. That's different, I protested. Derek and I are happy. Are you, though? Rachel leaned forward. Or are you just comfortable? There's a difference, babe. When's the last time Derek surprised you? Madison asked. Took you somewhere spontaneous, made your heart race? We went to that new Thai place last week. They exchanged looks, the kind that said, poor, naive Lauren. Honey, Madison said gently, like breaking news of a death. You're about to lock yourself down forever with the only guy you've ever really dated. Don't you think you should explore a little first? Make sure he's really what you want? I know what I want. Do you? Or do you just know what's safe? The conversation haunted me all the way home. Derek was already asleep, his arm draped over my side of the bed like always. I stared at his face in the dark. Strong jaw, kind eyes, even in sleep. The scar on his chin from a biking accident sophomore year. My Derek. Steady, reliable, loving Derek. But when was the last time my heart raced? I pushed the thought away. Madison was bitter. Rachel collected divorces like stamps. Kelsey was a cautionary tale, not a role model. They didn't understand what Derek and I had. But the seed was planted. You were out late, Derek said over breakfast. How was Madison's thing? Depressing. She's really angry about the divorce. Well, yeah, Todd was her whole life. That's what happens when you don't maintain your own identity in a relationship. He poured me coffee, exactly how I liked it. Had been making it perfect for 7 years. That's why I'm glad you have your friends, your job. We're partners, not codependent. Partners. Safe word. Stable word. Boring word. Derek, do you ever feel like we're missing out? He looked up from his eggs. On what? I don't know, experiences, other people. We've been together since we were 21. And that's bad? No, Madison said something about exploring before settling down. Derek set down his fork, really looked at me. Is that what you think you're doing? Settling? No, God, no, I love you. But nothing. Madison's projecting her crap onto everyone. Forget I said anything. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, but Lauren, if you ever feel like you need to explore or whatever, talk to me. Don't let it fester. We're getting married in 8 months. If you have doubts, now's the time. I don't have doubts, I lied. But I did. Madison's words burrowed deeper each day. When Derek and I had our regular Thursday date night, dinner and a movie, same as always, I found myself thinking about spontaneity. When we made love Sunday morning, gentle, familiar, satisfying, I wondered about passion. When he brought me flowers on Friday, the same daisies he always brought, I thought about surprises. You're being ridiculous, I told myself. But I started noticing things. How Derek and I could sit in comfortable silence for hours. How we never fought because we knew each other too well. How our friends called us the old married couple, even though we weren't married yet. Was this love or habit? Safety or settling? 2 weeks after Madison's party, the three of them invited me to a girls' weekend in Atlantic City. I almost didn't go. Derek and I had plans to check out wedding bands, but he encouraged it. Go have fun with your friends. Wedding stuff will be here when you get back. Sweet, understanding Derek. Did he ever want to do anything but wedding stuff? Did he ever want to be wild, reckless, young? Atlantic City was everything Derek wasn't. Loud, unpredictable, electric. Madison had booked a suite at the Borgata, stocked it with champagne and bad decisions. The first night, we hit the clubs on the boardwalk. I wore a dress Derek had never seen, tight, short, purchased specifically for this trip. When men looked at me, really looked, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Desired, unknown, free. See, Rachel shouted over the music, this is what you're missing, this energy. A man bought me a drink. Then another. He was everything Derek wasn't. Tattooed, dangerous looking, probably bad news. When he asked me to dance, I should have said no, should have mentioned my fiancé. Instead, I said yes. His name was Zach. He was in town for a bachelor party, worked construction in Philadelphia, had a laugh that made me forget I wore an engagement ring. When he kissed me on the dance floor, tasting like whiskey and poor choices, I kissed him back. Get it, girl! Madison cheered when she saw us. I didn't sleep with him. Pulled away when he invited me to his room, ran back to our suite like Cinderella at midnight. But the damage was done. I'd crossed a line, and worse, I'd liked it. That's what exploring feels like, Kelsey said as I sat on the bathroom floor, crying off my makeup. Now you know there's more out there than safe, boring Derek. Derek's not boring. When's the last time he made you feel like that guy did tonight? I couldn't answer because the truth was never. Derek made me feel loved, secure, valued. But not wild, not reckless, not young. I deleted Zach's number but kept the memory. Told Derek the weekend was fun but uneventful. Added another lie to my growing collection. I was thinking, Madison said the next week at lunch, you should download some dating apps just to see what's out there. You don't have to meet anyone, just look. I'm engaged. Engaged isn't married. And how can you know Derek's the one if you've never compared him to anyone else? That's insane logic. Is it? Would you buy the first wedding dress you tried on without looking at others? Would I? Probably if it fit well and made me happy. But that wasn't what brides did, was it? They tried on dozens, compared, contrasted, made sure they weren't missing something better. I downloaded Bumble that night. Just to look, I told myself, just to see. Created a profile with photos Derek hadn't taken, wrote a bio that didn't mention him, set my status to figuring out my relationship. The matches flooded in. Lawyers, doctors, artists, entrepreneurs. Men who traveled the world, men who wrote poetry, men who promised adventure. Was this what I was missing? "You're quiet lately," Derek said over dinner. "Everything okay?" "Just work stress," I lied. My phone buzzed with a Bumble notification. I flipped it face down. "Maybe we should take a vacation after the wedding, somewhere relaxing." After the wedding. Always planning, always future-focused. What about now? What about being 28 and wild and free? "Actually," I heard myself say, "I was thinking maybe we should postpone the wedding." Derek's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. "What?" "Not cancel, just postpone. We're so young, Derek. What's the rush?" "The rush, Lauren. We've been together 7 years. We've been engaged for 2. What's going on?" "Nothing's going on. I just think maybe we should live a little first." "We are living. We're building a life together." "But what about separately? What about experiences we can't have as a couple?" His face went very still. "What kind of experiences?" "I don't know. Travel, meeting new people, being independent." "You can travel, you can meet people, you are independent. What are you really saying?" I should have stopped there. Should have recognized the hurt in his eyes, the confusion in his voice. Should have remembered that this was Derek, who'd held my hair when I had food poisoning, who'd driven 3 hours to pick me up when my car broke down, who'd never given me a single reason to doubt him. Instead, I said, "Maybe we should take a break." The words landed like a bomb in our dining room. Derek's fork clattered against his plate. He set it down carefully, precisely, the way he did everything. "A break," he repeated. "Like Ross and Rachel?" "This isn't a joke. I'm not laughing." He pushed back from the table. "Where is this coming from? And don't say nowhere. 2 months ago we were tasting wedding cakes. Now you want a break?" "My friends think—" "Your friends?" He laughed, but it was bitter. "Madison, who cheated on Todd, Rachel, who collects divorces, Kelsey, who slept with her brother-in-law, those friends?" "They just think I should be sure?" "And 7 years isn't enough to be sure?" "It's the only 7 years I've known. How can I be sure if I've never experienced anything else?" "Because you love me. At least I thought you did." "I do love you." "But you want to explore." He said it like a curse word. "You want to see what else is out there. Shop around. Make sure you're not settling for boring, reliable Derek." "That's not—" "It's exactly what you're saying." He stood up. "You know what? Take your break. Explore. See what's out there. But don't expect me to wait around while you do." "Derek, please." "I'm going to stay at my brother's tonight. We can talk about logistics tomorrow." He left. Just walked out of our apartment, our life, our future. I sat at the dinner table, staring at his half-eaten plate, wondering what I'd done. "You did the right thing," Madison assured me over wine the next night. "If it's meant to be, he'll wait." "He said he won't wait." "Then he's not the one. The right man would understand you need this." Would he, though? Or was the right man the one who'd already given me 7 years of understanding, patience, love? Derek moved out that weekend. Took his things with the same quiet efficiency he did everything. No drama, no begging, no scenes. Just boxed up 7 years and carried them away. "I'll transfer my half of the rent until the lease is up," he said. "The wedding vendors all have my credit card. Cancel what you can, keep what you want." "Derek, can we talk about this?" "We did talk. You want to explore. So explore." "I just need some time." "No." He finally looked at me and his eyes were empty. "You need other people. You need to make sure I'm enough by comparing me to strangers. That tells me everything." "That's not fair." "Neither is throwing away 7 years because your divorced friends think you're missing out." After he left, I sat in our half-empty apartment and waited to feel free. Liberated, excited. Instead, I felt like I'd cut off my own arm. "It's just adjustment," Rachel said. "Give it time. Now let's see those dating apps." I threw myself into exploring with desperate enthusiasm. Accepted every match, every date, every possibility. Coffee with investment bankers who talked about themselves for hours. Dinners with entrepreneurs who lived with their parents. Drinks with men who looked nothing like their photos. Who treated waitstaff badly. Who expected sex for the price of a martini. "You're being too picky," Madison critiqued. "Derek, set your standards too high. Lower them a little." Lower them from a man who remembered how I took my coffee, who rubbed my feet during movie nights, who'd spent 7 years proving his love daily. But I tried. Gave second chances to men who deserved none, kissed strangers in bar bathrooms, woke up in beds that weren't mine with men whose last names I didn't know. "This is living!" Kelsey cheered when I told them about my escapades. "This is what you were missing." Was it? Because it felt empty, like playing a part in someone else's life. The Lauren who did body shots with bartenders wasn't me. But I'd thrown away me for this, so I had to make it worth it. The lowest point came 6 weeks into my exploration. A Tinder date with someone named Brett who'd seemed promising. Good job, good photos, good banter. We met at an upscale restaurant in the Inner Harbor. He was handsome enough, charming enough, interested enough. Halfway through dinner, I saw them. Derek and a woman I didn't recognize, sitting 3 tables away. She was pretty, not stunning, just pretty in a wholesome way. They were laughing about something, and when she reached across the table to wipe sauce from his chin, he caught her hand, held it. The gesture was so tender I couldn't breathe. "You okay?" Brett asked. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I'm fine. Excuse me." I fled to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and sobbed. Derek had moved on. Of course he had. He'd told me he wouldn't wait, and Derek always did what he said. Meanwhile, I was on date number 20-something with another stranger, still searching for something I'd already had. When I returned to the table, Brett had ordered another bottle of wine. "Thought you could use it," he said with a smile that probably worked on other women. I drank too much. Let him kiss me at the table, partly because he wanted to, and partly because I hoped Derek would see. When I glanced over, their table was empty. They'd left, and he hadn't even noticed me. "Want to get out of here?" Brett asked, hand on my thigh. Yes. I went to his place in Canton, let him do what he wanted, felt nothing, left before dawn, called an Uber with shaking hands, and cried the whole way home. "You're doing great," Madison lied when she found me on the bathroom floor that afternoon. "This is just part of the process." I miss him. You miss comfort. You miss settling. I miss Derek, the actual person, his laugh, his stupid puns, the way he— "Stop, you're romanticizing. Remember why you ended it." But I couldn't remember anymore. The reasons that seemed so valid 8 weeks ago now felt like tissue paper logic. I'd had everything and thrown it away for what? Strangers who didn't know I was allergic to shellfish? Men who couldn't remember my last name? This hollow freedom that felt more like prison? I tried to call Derek that night. His number went straight to voicemail. He'd blocked me. Tried email, social media, even showed up at his brother's house. "He's not here," his brother said, not unkindly but firmly. "And even if he was, Lauren, he wouldn't want to see you." I made a mistake. "Yeah, you did, but some mistakes can't be undone. You wanted to explore? Go explore. Leave my brother alone." I hired Kelsey's divorce lawyer to handle the wedding cancellations, lost thousands in deposits, donated my dress to charity because looking at it made me physically ill. Our vendors were confused. "You two seemed so perfect together." But professional. Just another casualty of modern love. 3 months into my grand exploration, my friends started pulling back. Madison reconciled with Todd, suddenly too busy with couples therapy to go out. Rachel met someone new and serious, someone who made her delete her dating apps. Even Kelsey settled down with the brother-in-law she'd blown up her life for. "We were in different places," Madison explained when I confronted her. "We were angry and projecting. But you and Derek, you guys were solid. I shouldn't have pushed you to question that." "Now you tell me?" "I thought you'd try it for a few weeks and go back." I didn't think you'd actually end it. So I was alone, completely alone with my freedom and my exploration and my empty apartment. Derek still helped pay for because he was too good to leave me struggling. That's when I saw the Facebook post. Derek Mitchell is in a relationship with Sarah Conway. 6 months. It had taken him 6 months to find someone new, someone worth going Facebook official with. I stalked her profile like a detective. Elementary school teacher, volunteers at animal shelters, runs half marathons for charity, the kind of woman who deserved Derek. Her latest post was a photo album, Portland adventure with this guy. 20 pictures of Derek in Oregon, hiking, trying food trucks, exploring a city I'd never taken him to because I was too busy planning our predictable future. He looked happy, lighter, free in a way I'd wanted to feel but couldn't. The last photo broke me. Derek on one knee at Multnomah Falls, ring in hand, Sarah's hands flew to her mouth in shock. The caption, "I said yes. Sometimes when you know, you know. Can't wait to marry my best friend." 7 years with me, and he'd never looked that happy in a photo. 6 months with her, and he was proposing at waterfalls. The comments poured in, so fast, but so right. When you find the one, why wait? You guys are perfect together. Perfect. We'd been perfect once, according to everyone. But perfect wasn't enough for me. I'd needed more, better, different. Now he'd found his actual perfect while I sat in my childhood bedroom at 30, scrolling through their happiness on a cracked phone screen. Derek's mother finally stopped calling last week, but she sent one final text. "I hope you found what you were looking for." I hadn't. What I'd been looking for was in Portland now, building a life with someone who knew his worth from the start. What I'd been looking for was what I'd had. A man who loved me steadily, deeply, truly. A man who made me his choice every single day until I forced him to choose differently. My therapist asks me what I've learned. I've learned that exploration isn't always discovery. Sometimes it's just loss, dressed up in heels and bad advice, parading as freedom. I've learned that settling implies you could do better, but sometimes what you have is already the best. I've learned that the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. And I'd stopped watering mine because 3 bitter women convinced me I deserved a different lawn. Mostly, I've learned that some voices shouldn't be listened to, that some advice is just misery seeking company, that when you have something real, something true, something 7 years in the making, you don't throw it away because someone questions if you've explored enough. But I learned it too late. Derek is marrying Sarah in Portland next spring. Same timeline as our canceled wedding. My invitation to explore cost me everything worth keeping. And the woman I became in that exploration? She's someone I don't even recognize. Someone who traded forever for right now and ended up with nothing at all. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. But I knew. Deep down, I knew exactly what I had with Derek. I just let other people convince me it wasn't enough. Now I get to watch from a distance as he gives someone else the life I threw away. My friends were wrong about exploration. You don't need to try every option to know what's right. You just need to recognize love when it's standing in front of you, making you coffee exactly how you like it, planning a future you're lucky to be part of, choosing you every single day. I had that. I had him. And I threw it all away because 3 divorced women told me I was settling. Turns out the only thing I settled for was loneliness. The kind that comes from knowing you had the best and chose to explore until you lost it. Derek's wedding is in 6 months. Our season. The same season I would have married him, if I'd been smart enough to see what I had. Sarah posts updates. Dress shopping with her sisters, cake tasting with Derek, planning the Hawaiian honeymoon I'd dreamed about. She gets the life I discarded, and she's grateful for it. Grateful in a way I never was until it was gone. That's my story. The one where I had everything and traded it for nothing because I thought I deserved more. Where I listened to the wrong voices and silenced the only one that mattered. My own heart, telling me Derek was enough. more than enough. Everything. But you can't explore your way back to what you destroyed. You can only sit with the consequences and watch someone else live the life you were too foolish to want. That's not exploration. That's just exile. And it's exactly what I deserve.